freaks, fans, and friends. It's yours truly, the Pope of Plastic, from the greatest hobby facility in the United States of America, possibly the world, possibly in the universe. Harry's Hobbies, Collectibles, Toys, Beauty Salon, podiatry office, advice, counseling. It's all here at Harry's. You got to get here. I'm not going to go through the whole rigmarole again, but if you don't get here, then get into something else. Maybe get into
macrame.
Macrame would be a good choice. But if you're into model building, this is the place to be. And today is episode 8 of Vintage Unboxings at Harry's, and I'm so happy to be here with you. We've got some gems today. We're going back, Steve, into the aircraft world. And I'm going to be doing what we like to call a double whammy. I'm going to be doing 2 kits, one small kit, one big kit. And today I'm excited because the first kit is a kit I built as a kid. In fact, I built it a couple of times, and I always loved this kit because I loved, and I still love, in fact, right now I'm building a helicopter. I love helicopters, and today we're going to look at the first model we're going to look at is the beautiful, gorgeous 1/48 scale Sikorsky rescue helicopter from 1979. What a beauty. Now, I have not looked at this, and I'm wondering how it holds up from what I remember as a kid, because I loved building this kit. I loved it. I especially loved it, if memory serves me correct. Yes, the front engine area opens up, and when I was young, when I was building models like this as a kid, I loved to play with my models. So I would build them, and then I would go and I'd fly around and do all different scenarios in my head, and I just loved it. And because it had some operating features on this thing, this was one of my favorite kits. And we're going to take a peek at this. Look at the gorgeous box art. I mean, it is just a stunner. Beautiful photography. Of course, we've got our operating features here. Absolutely incredible. Mayday, a pilot is down in the cold Pacific waters, floating. He anxiously awaits the arrival of the Sikorsky H-19 rescue helicopter. Quickly at the scene, the helicopter pilot lowers a cable harness to the downed flyer. He eagerly grabs and is hauled up into the hovering helicopter. Once aboard, medical help is a short flight away. Chalk up another successful rescue for the Sikorsky H-19 rescue helicopter. Creative writing. You don't see that on model kits anymore, Steve. Now, this is the kind of thing we would use when I was at, we would call this romance copy. When I was a packaging designer at Hasbro Toys, we had copywriting department that would write these little paragraphs here, and that's what we call romance copy, which is kind of cool, which is kind of encouraging you to play with the model, making it more than just a static display model, but an actual something you could play and have some fun with.
Well, the cool thing about the early Revell airplanes, a lot of them would drop a torpedo.
Yeah.
The propellers would spin. You could fold up the wings on the Corsair. They did stuff.
Absolutely.
And it added to the play value, and it was really cool.
And today, I don't want my models doing anything, unless maybe remove a hatch or slide the canopy back. I am one of these guys who is anti-movable parts, because to me, movable parts means broken parts. That's what it means to me. I like building a static model. If you want the wings up, I'm going to build it up, not up and down. I don't look at them as play toys anymore, but when I was a kid, I certainly did. Let's open up this beauty, Steve. Oh, yeah, just as I remember. Look at this. Now, Revell was famous for their flash. This was one thing that they were known for. They held it as a place of pride in their manufacturing process, that flash would make the model a little bit more challenging. So they made sure the guy... Bob, who was over there working the molds, his supervisor would come over and he'd say, Bob, make sure you're letting some of the plastic spill out so we can get some, so we make it a little more challenging for the builder. And that's what he did. And he was like, okay, I'll overstuff the mold with plastic. Raised rivet lines, raised rivets. We wanted to make sure we knew that this was copyrighted in case anybody wanted to steal it. So it was a circle R. Look at this, and you got your guy who's being rescued from the ocean. We got plenty of flash, which is good.
Now, when that cable or the basket would come down to pick him up in the ocean, yes. I hope he would allow the basket to hit the water first. He'd get quite a shock.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the engine detail in here. This is just like I remembered it.
And Revell wasn't shy about putting the copyright right in a visible spot.
Because you want to have it right on the side of the fuselage is the most important place on any model kit. But the detail on this surprisingly isn't too bad, but it's not great. And they really, I would describe Revell's molding process back in the day as chunky. That would be my what I would say. They're very chunky models. They're not refined. They're very, everything is kind of overly exaggerated a little bit. Look at this guy. He's been attacked by Flash right there. Look at that.
There's a lot of cleanup on that.
A lot of cleanup on that one. I don't know. How is the detail? I think Revell wasn't known for their great figure sculpts. Here's your blades. Again, lots of flash. You're going to have a lot of fun cleaning up this kit. The glass is about 2.5 inches thick. Look at the thickness of the clear. Holy Moses. That is some thick clear right there. Boy, we got tons of figures, just all sorts of figures. This guy's missing an arm. Oh, they must come with the arm. Arm is there somewhere. So this is molded in silver, obviously. Here's your decal sheet. Let's look at the decal. I remember this like yesterday. I think these decals...
Resolution looks pretty good.
Yeah, it may still... well, these are screen printed, so I'm sure that these are good. And they're not too yellow, so they probably work. Here you go. I remember the Revell Modelers Club because I was a member, and this is the official application. And I remember we got a whole bunch of stuff. I remember, I think I actually got a kit for signing up on your birthday or something like that, if I remember correctly. This was 1977 was when the club, it looks like the club was started. Let's look at these very complex directions. Very simple. Man, I swear, I've got a pretty good memory, and it's amazing that when I look at these things that it all really comes back to me. I can almost picture exactly where I was building this. I would have been building this in our Florida room, which for you Yankees up here would be your living room or your TV room. I'm sorry, TV room. And my mom had a dedicated card table that she would put there, and I was allowed to build on the card table. And back then we were using, oil-based, enamel paint. My mom would get me the paint thinner, and I remember to this day, my decal. When I do decals, I have one of those glass, pudding bowls. You know what I mean, Steve? Mm-hmm. With the scalloped edges. And to this day, I still use one of those for my decals. But that thing is like. It's like a part of my modeling history is having one of those little glass round bowls in my modeling. And I've always had that. Always. And when I've broken one, which I broke one not too long ago, I went out and looked for that exact thing. For some reason, that is a big part of my model building. And even though I don't use thinner anymore, back then I used that bowl for thinner. Now I use it for my decals. Now that people use heated bowls and all this other rigmarole, I just go get hot water. I put it in my little pudding bowl, glass clear pudding bowl, and that's my decal thing. But the instructions, look, this is Revell 1979. And actually, the instructions look better than the kit, to be honest with you. They're drawn very, very well. Very nice. Now, what I will say about this kit is that, I mean, look, it's all here. I have, you know, somebody may make a version of this helicopter nowadays in modern times. I don't know. You know, maybe ICM or something. They tend to make a lot of helicopters, and they do a very good job at it. But what I would say is that if you're looking for unique subject matter, sometimes you have to rely on these older kits because people just don't make them anymore, the subject matter. So I could easily take this old kit and do a lot of work to it and make it a really nice looking representation of this Sikorsky. So sometimes you just need the base to work from. And I would say that this would be a good base. Would there be a lot of work have to be done to it? Absolutely. I'm sure the fit is not great on this thing. But Revell, not known for their best molding back in the day.
But the nostalgia factor.
The nostalgia factor is way up there for me because it brings back memories. And sometimes that's what vintage models are all about, is bringing back memories. And that's what this is. This is a memory. I saw this morning. I remembered exactly building this and then playing with it and everything else. So this was one that I certainly wanted to unbox. And there we go. From 1979. Now we're going to get into something a little bigger. I like the big vintage kits. And a few weeks ago, we did the big version of the Hawker Hurricane by Airfix. And here we have another beauty from 1980. And this is the 124 scale Focke-Wulf FW 190A. And these kits were always too expensive. My parents wouldn't buy me any of these big expensive kits. I don't even know what this would have cost back in 1980, but I would have to imagine probably in the $40 to $50 range. You know, maybe even a little bit more than that, but I'm not sure. But you know, my parents, they liked me model building. They liked me doing anything creative for sure. It kept me out of trouble, but they weren't about to waste, you know, $50-$60 on a model for me. You know, the biggest model I got for Christmas was the 148 scale Revell, well, monogram at that time, B17. And I remember getting that, and I thought that was the greatest thing that ever happened to me, was getting that B17, because my brother Dave, who I talk about all the time, he did the B17 by monogram, and he did one hell of a bang up job. And so of course I wanted to do the B17. I didn't even paint mine. Mine was just all silver plastic. I remember that. It was all silver. And when I got done with it, it looked like a big silver turd is what it looked like. Yet my brother's was all airbrushed and everything else. Breaking news though, my brother is working on a new model right now. He is working on a Dauntless in 148 scale. So I can't wait to see how his Dauntless comes out. I've seen some pictures of it. Hasegawa, the vintage Dauntless from 1974, I think, something like that. He's working on it. He's doing some photo etch. He's discovering how horrible photo etched is. He's been complaining to me about photo etch because he decided to do photo etched dive breaks on it. And he's not too happy with that. He said he'll never do that again. But anyway, my brother was a great model builder. I'm excited to see how he did do a B24 a few years ago. I inspired him to do get back into model building. He did one model, came out terrific. I'll be anxious to see what the Dauntless looks like. So anyway, here we go. Now this box has seen better days, Steve. I don't know if it's been attacked by rats, if it was, if somebody's septic overflowed in the basement and this got water damage. But
it certainly has a patina.
It does have a patina, but I can certainly tell you, because I wouldn't be opening it, this is all complete. So if you're looking for a first release of the F1 Focke-Wulf FW 190A, you want to come down to Harry's because this is where you would find something like this. You know, he's got everything. He's got new models. He's got feces covered models. He's got models that, you know, shouldn't still, you know, be. Good Lord. It's asbestos. I think they made their boxes out of asbestos. Now, Steve, I'm thinking maybe that these decals are not usable. What do you think?
I would doubt it. I would doubt it.
I mean, I think the jury might be out, but I think you might have to get some replacement decals for this. These are quite possibly the worst condition decals that I've ever seen.
Yeah, these are very bad.
These are bad. So I would probably say you want to get some replacement decals, which I'm sure you can find. Let's see. Here we go. This is beautiful. This was this is the instruction sheet. So you're missing this part of the instruction sheet, which is all the history. I'll bet you could probably, Steve, go online and download a PDF of this instruction sheet. Probably if you contacted Airfix.
Yeah, they probably still make the kit.
They probably do. I don't know. But I'm sure they probably have access if you ask them nicely. Could you send us, if you said, cheerio, mate, Governor, could I get some directions for the Focke-Wulf 124 scale? I'm sure they would probably be able to get those for you. So we're going to start out with the engine, the cockpit. Cockpit doesn't look that detailed, to be honest. Well, I guess, well, I don't know. The engine looks, oh, you can put a motor in it. Look at that. A lot of these old kits, boy, they love the gimmick of putting a motor in it. That was every single kit we've opened has had a motor involved. Engine looks fairly detailed. And, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty straightforward. Does have a movable tail rudder. We got a nicely detailed tail wheel. Does this have retractable landing gear? I think it has retractable landing gear. Maybe it doesn't, but it does have movable ailerons. Now these are very different instructions than from when we looked at the Hawker Hurricane. Maybe this kit's a little bit newer. But the instructions are, you know, pretty clear and concise, but these are a little bit different. These don't look like your typical Airfix decals, but, I mean, decals. Instructions. But pretty, you know, looks pretty, doesn't look that complicated, to be honest with you, Steve.
That bomb damage on the fuselage?
That is bomb, it's bomb damage, yeah. Hold on, let me get a piece of peanut from the feces off of there. Here we go. Here's your stand. Stand looks okay. Look at this thing. We got, it looks like all the pieces are here. This is like part of the cockpit, another part of the, these are rubber wheels. These are still good. Now this is unique. I don't know if the Hawker Hurricane had rubber wheels, but this, I can't remember. But this has, you know, Tamiya started doing rubber wheels in their kits. These are molded very terribly. That's not a good looking tire. But, I mean, look. What are you going to do? I'm sure you can make them look good. Let's look at this. We're going to crack the seal on this thing first time since 1980. Smells just like 1980. Let's open this bad boy up. The most important thing is everything is here. That's the important thing. If I can get this plastic off of here. Okay, let's look at this plastic. Again, recessed panel lines. That's good, kind of chunky. The panel lines are kind of chunky. The details are kind of chunky. Overall, the engine looks like it's molded nicely. Yeah, these the rivets are pretty chunky on this thing. But you know what? If you put a good way to kind of solve that is by, I don't normally use a primer, but if you use a Mr. Surfacer or something like that, it'll fill in a lot of this, and it'll make it a little bit more realistic. I know a lot of people do that, and that's something certainly you could do if you're not happy with, you know, how deep, you know, some of these rivets are and stuff like that.
And that would be a good topic for someday, discussing the difference between primer and surfacer.
Yeah, that would be, and surfacer would be perfect on this, I think. Now for me, when I prime, I just use regular paint to prime. I'm just doing a primer. For me is just an undercoat, mainly to make everything all consistent. A lot of models are molded in different colored plastics, even though they get painted the same color. So I'll use a color, you know, just to make all the parts consistent before I do the paint on top. The other thing is I'll use different paints to enhance the top color that I'm going to put on there. So a lot of people would say, you know, if you're going to paint white on top of something, most people would say, oh, you know, just do gray or whatever. To me, that makes when I'm doing military models, the white is too bright. I like it to be kind of dulled out. So what I'll do is I'll usually prime with a black and then do white on top of it. Call me wacky, but that's what I do. I think I get much more realistic results that way, but that's just me. That's the thing about, I was just explaining to some guy in the over at Katie's in the model shop over there. He was talking about how he loves to use enamels and he would never use water base and this and that and this and that. And listen, this is what I say to anybody. Model building, you can do whatever the hell you want. I don't care what you use, as long as you're having fun. I don't even care if the results are great, as long as you're having fun. Paint it with house paint. I don't care. Paint it with mayonnaise. I don't care. Paint it with whatever you want. Just have fun and enjoy it. If you like it, you like it. There's no rules in this hobby.
A friend of mine had a 1967 Volkswagen Beetle, and it was painted with hunter green house paint.
Oh, see, there you go. And it probably looked beautiful.
It looked beautiful.
Engine detail is really nice on this. I would say, if anything that stands out, the cockpit looks, again, kind of chunky, the details. But, again, we were talking about on that Sikorsky model, it's all here.
This doesn't look bad.
So it's not bad. It's a nice looking, the molds are nice. Are they earth-shattering? No. Are they up to today's standards? No. They're very, I would use the word kind of chunky, kind of like the Revell, actually. You have your clear glass here with the details for your gauges molded raised. So you'd want to paint those, dry brush to get out the detail. The glass, the clear looks really good. It's a little wavy, but for being 1980, it's not bad. The pilot here, the mold, he looks like he's got some gas.
Now, would that be I.R. Gleed or Douglas Bader, Ginger Lacey?
I don't know who that is, but that is, the glass looks good. What is this thing? Oh, another Modelers Club. I bet if you sent this in, they'd still probably send you something. That'd be fun to do, wouldn't it? To fill this out and send it to them with a $1 or whatever, a pound. This is a nice looking model. Is it the best? I don't think it is as good as the Hawker Hurricane that we unboxed. But I would say that it's okay. It's okay. But I can tell you this, it's rare. This is a first issue. You're probably not going to save this box. I wouldn't say. And in fact, I'm probably going to go get a tetanus shot.
Well, if you have any kind of breathing issues like I do, you wouldn't want to save the box.
No, and like I said, I'm going to go get a tetanus shot after this. But very nice looking model. Nice looking. I think it would make for a beautiful model. I think with some work, you could really make this look spectacular. And the old Sikorsky rescue helicopter, I remember it as a kid. I won't be doing this model again, but you know, it brings back a lot of memories. That's all I can say about that. And once again, these are two gyms over here at Harry's Hobbies in Norton, Massachusetts. And if you want a kit from your childhood that you remembered, I can almost guarantee you that Harry has it. I can almost guarantee it, that he's got it or he's got access to it. From the obscure to the most modern kit that just came out, this is where you want to come and get your models. That's for doggone sure. And what I will say to you right now is that we are going to be having a model show come May 18th at the Elks Lodge in what town? Franklin, Massachusetts. At the Elks Lodge, the Franklin, Massachusetts Elks Lodge. You're going to have everything there. You're going to be so sick of seeing model stuff because there's just going to be too much there. You are going to be like, you may need, even though the show is one day, you're going to wish that it was a week-long show.
No, it's going to be big.
There's going to be so much there. It is going to be absolutely incredible. You know that they are bringing out the embalmed body of the founder of Tamiya is going to be on display there, which is going to be incredible.
No, it's going to be big.
You can get your picture taken with the founder of Tamiya. It's going to be great. They're going to roll them in, and they're going to dress them up in a Harry's t-shirt, and it's going to be fun for the whole family. The kids can sit in his lap. And it'll be a photo event that like no other in the history of any model show.
Oh, it's going to be big. People are going to be laughing, crying, singing songs.
It's going to be great. He can't sign anything though because he's dead. But Harry may sign some stuff for you.
Oh, Harry will. He'll sign.
Oh, he'll sign for you. He does a great Mr. Tamiya signature, and so he'll be doing that. And it is going to be great, and I'm going to be there. So, you know, for whatever it's worth, I'm going to be running the bathroom. So, you know, have you been to those clubs where you go to the bathroom and they have the colognes and you can get your shoes shined and all that? That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to have the Popoplastic official restroom at the Elks Lodge in Franklin, so you can come into the bathroom and say hello to me.
And there'll be a tip jar.
There'll be a tip jar. I'll have some Old Spice there. I'll have some what else am I going to have? Jovan Musk by Jovan. Sure. I'm going to have that there.
There'll be a Moyle on duty.
Yes. So we're going to have a good time, and that's what I'm trying to get at. So you want to come to the big model show May 18th in Franklin, Massachusetts at the Elks Lodge. We would love to see you there. We're going to have a lot of fun for the whole family, as we always like to say. And please like and subscribe to Vintage Unboxings. I do these every week, and it takes a lot out of me. So all I can ask is that you press the subscribe button. It costs you not a gosh darn thing, and it's free, and you'll get alerted when I'm going to do another one of these things. And if I survive to next week, if the asbestos infection, you know, doesn't ruin my lungs from the Airfix kit, I'll be back here, and we'll be back here next week. And then also catch me live building on TikTok on every evening. And right now I'm working on a, believe it or not, a Sea King helicopter by Hasegawa, old 66, the one that retrieved the Apollo astronauts after they walked on the moon. And so you can check me out building that thing. Then we're going to have the big, huge 1/32 scale B-24 full metal build, not paint, actual metal. I'll be doing that coming up here soon. Also an F1 car, John Player's Special Lotus is coming up, 1/12 scale Tamiya. Oh, and I just had the article in Momentum Magazine, so go check out Momentum Magazine online. Not Momentum Magazine, Magneto Magazine. Magneto Magazine. Go check me out in Magneto Magazine.
Barnes & Noble sells it.
Yep. Barnes & Noble has it, and I'm doing a Honda F1 car for them coming up as well, which is going to be excited by Tamiya. So anyway, that's what I got for you this week. I will see you back here with more exciting vintage model unboxings from Harry's. I will see you around the modeling bench at the Cathedral of Model Building. I'll see you later.